How we got started in this racing effort is I bought this Avanti off of eBay, and it was up in New York, and I had a delivery trip planned up in New Jersey to deliver a Studebaker Speedster. So I delivered that car and hauled this one back home on my Studebaker car hauler, and had other plans for this car. Southeast Studebaker, who I do some consulting work with, we were gonna put it on a different chassis and modify the floor pan. Well, that never happened for various reasons. It just sort of sat around for years, and Wayne and I started talking and said, well, we could probably make a race car out of it. Kind of interested in land speed racing because Studebaker has been known for setting records at Bonneville and various other venues for going fast. So we decided to, in 2009, we would drive over to Maxton, North Carolina, which is where they were, East Coast Timing Association was running speed trials. We drove the yellow Studebaker Wagonaire over there and see what was going on, and decided, yeah, we can do that. Wayne said he'll provide the engine and transmission, and I provide the car. So the plan was to build an Iron Duke type Pontiac Super Duty 4-cylinder engine to put in the car, and a 4-speed transmission, and a quick change rear end. Well, long story short, the engine didn't work out. It had a crack in the head or something when we fired it up. So the car sat for about 6 months trying to figure out what to do. I had a Studebaker V8 block and a 259 crankshaft, and I thought, well, it's an economy effort. I can build a 259 engine and put in this car and run down an E class for engines less than 260 cubic inches. And we studied the rule book and looked at the records, and the records in E class were not that high. So I thought, well, we could have some success in running in real street. Not before tech inspection, we determined this thing wasn't going to be ready. And already had the entry fee paid and the reservations at the hotels and all that. And my pit crew, my wife, was sitting here. She was packed and ready to go, expecting to go. And I came home and said, well, the car's not ready. But what we can do is we can drive this car up, which was never meant to race. It was just a good street car, and see if it passes any tech inspection and fits in any class. And if it does, we'll run it. That way we'll at least know what it's all about.
Well, I just basically am his gopher. I go for everything. I just sort of keep things together and try to help him whatever he needs to do. I'll do it. Like put the air dam on and change classes if he needs to change a class or go pay the money.
So we drove this up there. This was the inaugural event of Wilmington.
At Wilmington?
The Wilmington Mile, the Ohio Mile. So we didn't want to miss the inaugural event, the first time. So this was the first Studebaker to run in the Ohio Mile in Wilmington. And the first pass, it did 125 point something. And I thought, well, gee, you know, if it's going to run that good, maybe I should unload the trunk and get all the junk out of the trunk. So I did that, and next pass was 127 and some change, which happened to be a record in that class. And so anyway, we drove that car up there and ran it. And that was in April of 2012. This car still wasn't ready by the last race of 212, so we went back and ran it again. And it did well. And then went back in 2013, this one still wasn't ready. So we went one time in 2013 with this car and set one more record. And then we retired it. But the funny thing, the first time we drove it up there, it got 21.1 miles per gallon on the road. And by the time we got back, including the passes down the Ohio Mile, the wide open passes, it got over 18 miles a gallon round trip. To run in real street, the car's got to have all the correct equipment to drive on the road. Turn signals, horn, headlights. It's got to be licensed and insured. So you can run in gas real street or fuel real street with this car. You can also run in classic production. In order to run in classic production, all the body panels have to be unaltered. And it has to have an engine like would have come in the car. It can be a different displacement, but it has to be the same basic engine design that would have been available in the car. So there's 2 or 3 more classes you can run in there. And then classic gas altered. They can run in classic gas altered by covering the headlights and the grille. That's one of the ways you can run in altered. Well, the headlights are already covered and it has no grille. So all I do is put tape over the headlights. So it has headlight covers anyway. And we run in that class. So besides running it, for instance, in E gas real straight, if you want to handicap yourself, you can move up and run against bigger engines. We can go to D gas real straight. And this car has records in D gas real straight. So it fits into several classes, and that's how come we have so many records.
I collect a lot of stuff. I got different things, mostly Studebaker stuff, but how the truck came about, I've been gathering up parts for years to build me a daily driver. I bought, well, I think 7 trucks altogether.
We used parts off of like 5 of them.
There was 7 trucks contributed to that one, yeah.
To this
And
one truck.
I don't know how many cars, gave parts to them, but that was the deal with the truck. Like I say, I was just gathering up something for daily driver, and I'm not going to use it for a while. So won't you help put that thing together, or put it together? I'll help you a little bit with it. And done had some of the work done.
Yeah.
Had the front suspension done. Had the Camaro clip on it, and then had a few other parts. Had a rear end sitting around. It's had stuff. It's Morgan County Career and Technical Center, MCC, TC. It's on both the vehicles, and the students help build. Well, we done the brakes, the front suspension on this, the roll cage, and a whole bunch of little things. Just a lot of small stuff, and
A lot of rust cleaning.
yeah, on the truck, it needed a lot of body work. Like I say, it's got fenders and hoods and doors and cabs and beds and tailgates from different trucks and all this stuff. And they cleaned up a bunch of that stuff and helped put that together. Changed out, put it together and it's set too low, and changed the front springs again, and just stuff like that. High school kids didn't build these, but they did get to contribute to them, and they take pride in that. The biggest project going on right now is, we've got a 36 Chevrolet dirt track car that I found a year ago, and we're restoring that at school. The students are doing actually most of the work on this one. I'm helping them with it. It's just kind of a cool project. We don't get to work on it every day. We've got, at school, we got stuff we have to do. We're expected to cover, but I keep some cool projects there. And that's the main one at the moment, but there's a couple more too. There's 2 Studebakers there that we tinker with along with it, because some blocks I have over 20 students, and it's hard to keep 20 students busy, and if they're not busy, they're into meanness. So I keep projects there when we don't have other stuff to work on. Students' cars, teachers' cars, some of the students, families, some people just general public we'll work on, but certain things that we do, we don't do everything there, because these are rookies, but we got to keep the Studebaker out there so people knows what they are.
When he had first got the truck, and I walked in the garage there, and there's a rolling chassis there, and I said, what are you doing now? He said, I'm going land speed racing. Okay, all right, we can do that.
We looked at the truck records and saw what they were doing up there and felt like we could, you know, do that good or maybe a little better. So with using probably about 25 loads of parts off and on. Long story short, when I decided to do it, when I finally made my mind up in seven weeks, we put that truck together and went to Wilmington with it and set a record with it, and had a blast and got to go fast.
What was the record?
124, 126, and we went 150. Blew it out of the water. The modified pickup, you can change the engine and the transmission. The body has to be as it came, you know, pretty much from the factory. We did put a tonneau cover on the bed, but we didn't do any other body modifications to it. You know, we lowered the stance of the truck, of course, changed the suspension, but you're allowed to do that in a modified pickup. It's not like a modified production, it's modified pickup.
Now that I'm retired, I don't have a schedule really. I mean, Russ is still working, so he had a set time that we'd work to in the night, and usually that was 9:30 or something like that, and then we come back the next day. We worked. It was about a 2-week lead up to when we got the truck, and to get it prepped, get the engine set, and pretty much everything was there on the truck except the engine from when he ran it at Wilmington 2 years ago. So we got the engine from Phantom Race Engines, and then we put the motor in, got everything set, and then pretty much we were ready to go within 2 days of the meet.
Same year, I had the 3 records. I'd set the 3 records permanently because it was the last meet in Ohio, and then when we went over there, they were open for Arkansas, so we pretty much just set them. We beat them at over 20 mile an hour, but we had 100 and something more horsepower. You know, a whole different engine and everything this time. When I was round tracking, he's the real good help, always was, and he was in high school. And I went and talked to his dad because we was racing. To me, it was traveling. It was 100 miles. We was going to Bulls Gap, Newport, and that. And he was still in high school, so I went and talked to his dad. Said, look, you know, I want to make sure it's okay with you, you know, before we go, because you know we ain't gonna be getting back to 4 in the morning and stuff like this. And he felt comfortable letting him, you know, go with me. So he raced with me 2 or 3 years, and off and on different time zone later. And he ended up later on started building engines, and he owns an engine company now and has a lot of motors out and having a lot of success. So I went to him and asked him, you know, told him what I was doing with this, and you know, having fun, going fast, and if I could use one of his house engines. He's got a couple of house engines out that he helps let people use them to see, you know, helps him sell motors. And he said, yeah. He held one out for me for that week. So I went and got it and used it. It was a horse.
when you build something yourself, or help build something yourself, or you're involved in putting a project together and you see the results, that's satisfying.
The accomplishment of success, doing what you want to do.
The satisfaction, not done, but the satisfaction.